Yeah, time to go live.
Yeah, sorry, I was just making the thingy where camera.
And we are live. Welcome, good people of the interwebs. I was ready. John wasn't.
Nope,
Unfair though. Often it's me that's not ready.
no. Well, to be fair, I did just wake up, and I know what you might be thinking. What are you doing waking up at? It was 9:40 in the evening in the UK. Well, don't ask.
We'll find a good excuse. Oh, well. Yes,
No, no
Michael
excuse.
Keller.
There isn't. There is no excuse.
Well, thank you on the bon
Merely,
appetit, by the way.
sorry.
Michael Keller said bon appetit, so I said thank you for the bon appetit.
Well, he's probably. It's funny you should say it to me. He knows I'm always eating at the start of the stream.
I just had the last bite. I had the last bite. And yes, we are on time, which
It's a
happens.
miracle.
Now, I'm not really sure if, I mean, there's someone who said he wants to join if he can. Remote Ruby is trying to. He's welcome if he wants to. And we're going to talk about politics and the news. And John had 2 articles he wanted to bring by. But before we go there...
One really. It's one subject.
yeah, it's one subject, but it's 2 articles, isn't it?
Well, that's only because they're the first 2 I could find. I was doing it in a rush.
But
It's the second one, the older one, the one about the proposal that is a primary concern. The newer one about the backlash for comical reasons is like the dessert, or even the after meal mint.
Okay. Well, it seems that Remote Ruby is trying to join us in the Hangouts, but for whatever reason can't. I have no idea.
Oh, it's an American. I'm sure that factors into it somewhere. Hang on, it's all right. You carry on, mate. I'll provide the technical.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, before we started to talk about the articles that John had in mind, I wanted to start about something else. Now, let me see how this works, because, yeah, that's wrong me. Go that way. Click. Cluck. And then we say, you know what? There we go. Sorry, it took me a while, but Boris Johnson, because that's one of the politicians we're going to talk about, is often compared to Trump. But he's even more dangerous. And here's why. Now, what I find funny, because this is The Independent, and I don't have to see his face, that's okay. This is The Independent, and I didn't think The Independent was a rag. But apparently The Independent is a rag. What do you think, John?
I'm sorry. You don't think The Independent's a rag?
I didn't realise, no.
Sorry, pissed myself laughing. It didn't used to be, but it is now. It is awful feminist bollocks.
No, but I mean, how can you start a headline like Boris Johnson is often compared to Trump, but he's even more dangerous?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a second. To begin with, are we then all are we all sure that Trump is dangerous? Based on what?
No, exactly. I mean, there is so much bias indicated just in the expression of the headline, and it just proves how much of a rag they are, because no serious newspaper would head a piece, even an opinion piece, frame it in that way, because there's nothing serious about that headline. It's
But
like,
it's not even an opinion piece.
no,
Is
it
it?
is.
Okay, well,
It is.
that-
It is an opinion piece because it's written under a personal byline, and the guy is telling you what he thinks.
okay. Well, but I mean,
So that's an
the
opinion piece. It's not. It's
well,
not a
yeah.
news story. Is my point. It's not
No,
a news
to us.
story.
But
It,
are they publishing it as an opinion piece?
yes.
Okay, well, fair enough then. That's not as bad as one would have thought.
If you've got an article and it's like that and it's saying here's why, so that's an opinion, right? By definition. By definition, that's an opinion, and it's published under an individual.
No,
So
I
that
know.
individual is using the independent to give you his opinion,
Okay, well,
and it's even in quotes.
that it is an opinion, I can totally
No,
agree
no,
with.
but his article is in quotes.
Yeah, okay, but the headline isn't.
Oh, for goodness sake!
I know, but still. But I mean, look at this. Voters in England have always been suckers for politicians who present themselves as bit of a wag. They don't take them seriously
Really?
until it's too late.
Can it, citation needed?
Well, but I'm not even going to say, okay, citation needed. But what does this say about his opinion of the English public?
No. No, I mean, it isn't unfair to make a statement like that. Okay, but when it comes to our leaders, citation needed.
True that.
I mean, obviously, what he's thinking of are people like Nigel Farage,
Or Nigel Farage. And, well, maybe Nigel Farage. I mean, he's not talking about Jeremy Corbyn.
well, he's not talking about any of the prime ministers we've ever had.
Well, I think Margaret Thatcher was popular for her second.
No,
thing,
she
wasn't
wasn't a wag.
No, that's true. She wasn't. But
That's
she
what
was
I'm
damn
saying.
serious. Damn serious.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was
that's what I'm
as
saying.
serious as a heart attack.
You've got to address his point as made.
Yeah, well, I won't even say that Farage is a wag, to be honest.
The stupid thing is you're displaying something that covers half that text. You've got a pop-up showing, and so I can't actually read it.
Well, yeah, the pop-up is. I was going on to the next part actually.
No, but I can't read what it's saying. I'm just letting you know
Well,
that
all
when
right.
you present something to the audience to read, you should close the little pop-up of Boris Johnson.
Yeah, it's part of the page itself.
It said close. There's a little close on it. It's
Really?
a pop-up.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't see it. There you go.
Thank you. And there it says as a bit of a wag, because it only said present themselves and then blah blah and as a bit of a wag. So Cockburn.
Yes. Indeed, but we're not going to make fun of his name. There's plenty
Yeah,
more to make fun of.
the sad thing is it's generally pronounced Coburn.
Yeah. Because everyone would otherwise not stop.
Well, no,
laughing.
it's just there was when I was a lad, so I'm talking the 1970s. There was a
When I
brand
was
of
young,
sherry,
Mm-hmm.
and they even had a thing in the advert where they go, "It's pronounced Coburn, by the way."
But it's kind of.
Oh, I
funny.
did know someone. Sorry, I did know someone of that name who was quite happy being called Cockburn.
But anyway, I have to come to this one. I used to be wary of alarmist talks of. And always when I try to do this, it doesn't like me doing this when I use OBS. I don't know why. Anyway, I used to be wary of alarmists talk of soft coups and analogies with the rise of demagogic populist nationalist leaders in Europe.
Oh, no. Hang on. Sorry. You missed the first paragraph, and there's something very interesting in that first paragraph.
What,
No,
he calls
above.
them
The first
Mussolini and
paragraph.
Hitler?
First paragraph. The one above it.
Yeah, I understand what you mean with first, mate. What do you want to make? What point did you want to make?
Well, look, let's just go. Is the rise of Boris Johnson to be the next Prime Minister the product of a soft coup? Really? And then it says, does Donald Trump's racist demonisation of 4 non-white Congress members prove him to be a fascist leader like Mussolini or Hitler? I mean, okay, how much wrong can you get in the first two
But that's
sentences?
simple enough. I mean, these are two questions. Is the
No,
rise
no.
of Boris Johnson next Prime Minister, blah, 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 soft coup? No. Does
No, I'm
Donald Trump's
saying,
racist
how much
demonisation?
wrong can you get?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I
Racist demonisation. The guy has already, in the title and in that sentence, demonised Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's saying,
And by comparison, Johnson.
yeah, no. But point at hand, Modwin, please.
Okay.
Addressing the point at hand. So he's attacking Donald Trump. And yet he's saying that Donald Trump has engaged in a racist demonisation of 4 non-white Congress members. He did no such thing. It wasn't racist. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
And he didn't demonise them. He addressed them because they were being very...
But
they were standing there, metaphorically waving their arms in the air, shouting, "Look at me! Look at me!" And so he did. You know, it's not like he picked 4 people at random who were doing nothing. You know, and it's like, but it's funny how they must be aware of what they're doing, demonising Trump, and so the first thing they do is they deflect by calling him what they are doing, accusing him of doing what they are doing.
Yeah. I like it that they are referring to the Thatcher-Reagan years. Because if I remember the Thatcher-Reagan years well, and maybe you could tell me what you think, but I thought that the US-UK relationship in that period of time was damn good. I mean, I won't say that they were 2 hands on 1 belly, because that's nonsense. But
Is that a Dutch idiom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, but I won't
No,
say
it's
that.
fine. It's fine. It's just that for the English-speaking part of the audience, I wasn't aware of that particular idiom.
Okay, but do you agree with me that the UK-US relationship during Thatcher-Reagan was a really good relationship?
Yeah, I would say, to be fair, that's probably when the special relationship really started. You know, people talk about the United States and Britain having a special relationship. As far as I can tell, that is when it actually started.
Yeah, I thought
Because you
so
had-
too.
Well, you see, I mean, and it's understandable because both were essentially affecting a major political change, particularly in relation to economic, that is, monetary policy, against the tide of the way the Western world had been going since the 1940s. And therefore, you could understand them both allying with each other, since they had the same ideas and principles in general.
Well, Michael, I'm not saying that Reagan is the same as Trump. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that the relationship between the US and the UK really went well under under Reagan and Thatcher. I mean, there's maybe a lot of things that we might not be positive about. Fair enough, but that part went well.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't matter what you think of it, but you can definitely identify a close bond and similarity of ideology that made the two closer. And it was known at the time that Thatcher and Reagan were very appreciative of each other, shall we say.
Yeah.
So, as I say, to my mind, that is when this notion of the special relationship kicked off. Now, ever since Thatcher and Reagan, we've had the idea of the special relationship has persisted, and people talk about it. However, you had Blair's obsequiousness and arse-up-nose behaviour to Bush Jr. Okay.
I thought Blair Bush was an interesting couple as well, because they were basically both untrustworthy towards each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is that Blair was very sycophantic. It was very much Bush was going to do what Bush wanted to do, and Blair was like, yes, yes, master, yes, yes, master. Me go fetch stick, master. You know. And then when Trump came in, there was nothing special about Britain's attitude. A supposedly conservative government were as vile and hateful towards him as any of the left-wing idiots in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite interesting.
And so the notion of a special relationship really, if it wasn't for Thatcher and Reagan, wouldn't even have arisen, in my opinion.
No, but it's that he brings it up, and I'm like, well, I mean...
No, I'm not saying that. I was just giving you my opinion. I was just describing the phenomenon of the special relationship. And in my opinion, if it wasn't for Thatcher and Reagan, that concept would never have arisen.
Yeah. So basically, one of the better periods of intercontinental politics, and he's making it sound like it's a bad thing.
Well,
but
anything
anyway,
they don't like is a bad thing. Anything they don't like are Nazis. Everything they don't like is the end of the world.
That's all right, because they already put that in. I mean, they're like Mussolini and Hitler. And I'm like, I don't want to be...
No, he did ask the question. He said, does it make him like Mussolini?
Yeah. And the answer is no. But the fact is that he doesn't ask the question to have it answered.
He has to put in the dig. Though not a majority of them. Keep up, idiot, Coburn. Because if you were keeping up, you'd have heard the news from a left-winger insider to Google that Google swayed the vote by a minimum of that difference.
Yeah, and that's a very conservative minimum, because I saw the guy in Congress talking, not in Congress, when he was called up. He was talking like, no, it's absolutely minimally this. It can be any number above this, but it can't be anything lower than this. This is absolutely the minimum effect that it would have had. Well, wouldn't it have been very expensive? No, it wouldn't cost a single dime to do this. That was interesting. Well, I like the second part, and I was starting this.
No. I just wanted to start off with that characterization of Trump, because it tells you everything you need to know about his viewpoint. The fact that he just says racist demonization.
But here's the funny thing.
Without any equivocation, no allegedly, or what some may consider, but just stating it as a fact.
But this is something I found. This is something I found very funny. I used to be wary of alarmist talks of soft coups and analogies with the rise of demagogic populist nationalist leaders in Europe in the 1920s and 30s.
Who was talking about soft coups? Who was talking about soft coups? No, but this is what I'm trying to say. Who was talking about soft coups? He said, I used to be wary of alarmist talk. I've never heard it before. Never heard it before.
No, because...
Never heard that phrase used. Therefore, it's not exactly mainstream, is what I'm trying to say.
But the worst part is, but the parallels and similarities between then and now are becoming more menacing by the day. And I'm like, you know what? On that, I'm going to say you're correct.
No, but...
No, listen. There is absolutely a comparison in what happened in the early 20th century. And
No,
what's
well, we
happening
know
now.
your theories on this, but that's not my. No, okay, sorry. I want to make a point about language because this is how these manipulative bastards work. Okay, menacing, more menacing. So it's a scary word. It's an emotionally charging word. Oh,
Yeah.
you're supposed to feel unsafe, but it's not actually saying anything at all, is it? It's not saying. It's not identifying a threat. It's not. There's no need for evidence. It's just, it's like all these women who say, oh, I feel unsafe to go outside. Yeah, and that problem exists 100% in your head.
Yeah.
No one
but
else can do anything about
That's
it.
the one thing that I wanted to point out, though, because he has a point. These politicians reached their status, like especially Trump, Johnson not so much, because let's be honest, he only got there because of the Tory party chose him there, nothing else. But the way that the media keeps, not just the media, but the people that don't like him, the way they keep fighting Trump, in this case Johnson, Santini in Italy, what's the guy in Hungary? I forgot his name now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Crap with names. Never mind. I
Yeah,
mean,
me
the media
too. We're great for a stream, aren't we?
Yeah. But the media keeps attacking
Orban.
them. Orban, thank you. Yes, Orban. And the media keeps attacking these people, and they're creating an atmosphere wherein violence is completely acceptable towards these
as I say,
politicians.
he starts off in
But
the
this is
sentence
indeed,
saying demonization,
yeah. But
and yet
this is
this
what
whole
happened.
piece is demonization.
Yeah. But this is indeed what happened if we look at the beginning of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, it gave us Mussolini, and it gave us Mussolini, and it gave us Hitler. Fair enough. And I'm really hoping
him who cannot be named. Mussolini and him who cannot be named. Sorry.
Why can't we say Hitler?
It's a joke.
Ah, okay, I didn't get it then.
It's a Harry Potter joke. Okay, so
right, okay.
Voldemort in Harry Potter was always he who can't be named. Well, you know how YouTube are getting so censorious on people who use particular words or say certain things?
True that.
So he's he who can't be named.
He who can't be named. Yeah, it's, certain words can't be said either, like racist.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to use those words anyway. What's the worst thing that can happen?
No, I know. It's why it's a joke.
Yeah, but Franco, sorry, Michael Kelly, you're correct. But Franco kind of falls out of the whole thing because nobody cared. Which doesn't make sense.
A lot of Spanish people cared, and
Yeah,
the International Brigade who fought against him.
True that, but they're Spanish, so who cares?
No, the International Brigade who fought against him.
Yeah, but that's later. Way later.
No! Fuck's
What?
sake!
Not during the Second World War, that's not.
No. Before the Spanish Civil War, the International Brigade, people like George Orwell, he wrote a little book about it, Homage to Catalonia, about him fighting against the fascists in Spain.
Yeah, but what time was that?
1930s.
Oh, right, okay. My bad. There are
Not him who
YouTubers
won't
who
be
actually
named.
say N-word
Nick.
instead of Nazi. That's nice, because now we have all sorts of N-words. It won't be
Yeah.
long until Little Mustache Man is the only way to refer to Hitler. Well, you could be right, mate. You could be right.
Yeah, exactly, Michael Keller. And I constantly admonish Modwayne for saying nobody,
Well,
because it's not true. There's always somebody. And this is my this was the point I was digging at, that the Spanish cared and the International Brigade cared. Because to say nobody is
they're
to
only
grant the power to the leftist narrative that they want it to have. Because
nah.
they might not talk about it, they might not care, okay, Doesn't mean we shouldn't. And by saying
Anyway,
things like nobody,
anywho, we've heard it. We're moving on. It's kind of funny because this is the sort of talk that kind of started Mussolini and Hitler.
well, that and all the fighting and the poverty and the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the problem is that in so many ways, all the conditions of today are the exact opposite of the 1920s and 30s.
Well, in a lot of ways they luckily are, but there are comparisons.
No, maybe, but there is no way on earth that with the societies we have now, we ought to be having this kind of unrest. And the fact that these disingenuous wankers try to blame the other side for a problem that is 100% of their making is what makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
You close that article. Why don't you close the article? Or is it because I won't let you talk about it? It's only because I want to talk about the things as he says them. Because you see, here's the thing. Okay, so language matters a lot, and you have to look at the terminology. And it's like saying, "Oh well, the whole article says this." I know, but how does it say it? And that's why I'll point out words like demonization, menacing, because they are what are important. Because you could say the same thing in far more considered language.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the language he uses that makes it such propaganda.
Well, I wanted to move on because we've been on that article for quite a while, even though...
Is there a
you're
time
correct.
limit?
Sorry?
Is there a time limit?
No, but there was a few more articles, and then we would end up to basically where you wanted us to go. So I wanted to start with this one, because this one I found very interesting as well. Because apparently there was not going to be a misconduct trial for Boris Johnson after High Court intervenes. And I'm like, okay, why did the High Court intervene? Well, the High Court has reversed the decision to issue a summons against Boris Johnson for allegedly lying to voters during the EU referendum campaign.
Is that because they'd have to do the same for every other politician in Parliament?
Well, probably. But what I found interesting is, why did they pull it though? I mean, why can't they have it
Sorry,
happen?
that isn't the question. The first question is, why was there a charge in the first place?
And that's okay. That's the fair thing. So they would have then had how do you call it, a court day, and then it would be very public that it was a big nothing burger, and then what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost as if they are looking for reasons to complain.
No, exactly. And this comes back to my point about the demonization.
Yeah.
Because the start off saying, oh, Trump demonizes as part of their demonization of Trump. And they've done the same with Johnson. It's everything he does is bad. I mean, I even saw an editor. Well, it was an editorialized piece, so it was under someone's name in the Daily Mirror, where they said, "We already know that Boris Johnson is a congenital liar, and therefore we don't have to trust anything he does or says."
Yeah.
Oh, great!
Everyone who disagrees with me is a Nazi. Basically, that's the argument.
Yeah, and he's a journey, and he's saying he's already going to summarily dismiss everything the person does because he's that person. Wasting people's time and emotional energy. Who's that, Anatap, please? Who's wasting people's time? All leftists, yes. This is why I want to build a wall around London, stick them all inside and stop them interacting with the rest of the country. Yeah. I have been over this. These people are cancer.
Anyway, a district judge had issued the summons last month, so we're talking about May.
Crowd-funded private prosecution, you see. So this is the interesting information.
So but this is the funny thing. So basically, if I find enough people who say, you know what, I think he's a bad person, here's money, go do something with my money, then all of a sudden it's a court date. I mean, like, where is the justice in that?
Yeah. I mean, well, let's be fair. I mean, what is a charge? A politician lying? I mean, are they serious? Are they serious that they want to introduce a precedent of being able to prosecute a politician for lying?
Bye bye, Jeremy Corbyn.
Well, no, I mean Blair,
all of them,
weapons of mass destruction, and you know what I mean. It's like, I'm sorry, there's parliamentary privilege for a reason. It's because they know they're full of shit and they don't want to get called on it. So they wrote themselves a law saying, we're allowed to do whatever we want and say whatever we want. You can't touch us here.
But it's even worse, because what constitutes a lie?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
for
it to be a lie, you have to knowingly be wrong. Now, good luck with proving that. Well, but you knew blah, 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 blah. Oh, but no, I thought that this is what we were going to do. Prove that I didn't think that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
this is the basis of the angst on the other side of the channel, whereby journalists can pretty much say whatever they want and you can't sue them for libel, slander or defamation because, well, it's just my opinion.
Yeah. And it's pretty silly.
Well, no, I mean, it's like so many cases, right? It's an intractable problem. Okay, it's an intractable problem. From one side, it's a charter to be malicious, and then from the other side, if you know, it's impossible to police and maintain, even if you did have a law to say you've got to be honest, because as you say. And until, and I'll say until, they invent a machine they are convinced can tell whether you're lying or not.
Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, to continue on Boris Johnson bad rhetoric, what people in Uxbridge really feel about their MP, Boris Johnson, becoming Prime Minister. And could he lose the constituency if he does get the top job? And I'm like, okay.
That's a joke.
Well, not really.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke. Because, okay, there are large parts of the country which are so conservative that it really would take a catastrophic failure. Oh, shit, they just had one under Theresa May.
Well, it's kind of funny because some of Boris Johnson's constituents... Oh, here we go. Come on.
What's Uxbridge? Uxbridge is just part of the huge swathe of the southeast that is forever painted blue on the electoral map.
Yeah. Which, okay. Some of Boris Johnson's constituents...
Oh, well, sorry. We were talking about dishonest... Yeah, I know. An attack. That is so Orwellian.
A law against general dishonesty, but define
so Orwellian. It's these fucking leftists because they honestly think that they're truthful, and it's only the other side that are lying, as opposed to they're the liars and the other side are more truthful. I'm not saying truthful, but more truthful, less dishonest.
But it's define truthful. Define truthful is
well, actually, if we get to that article I wanted to talk about,
okay,
Caroline Lucas, this is the question of the whole thing is, you know, it's like when you hear feminist propaganda and you think, now surely no one believes that for real. Apparently, they do.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Apparently they do. There are some who think in all these deranged ideas and, you know, contradictory notions like we must have diversity. That's 11 white women.
Well, but this is... Some of Boris Johnson's constituents believe that he's the only trustworthy politician in Parliament. Yeah, sure, why not?
No.
Others-
Philip Davis.
Philip Davis?
Philip Davis. Number
Is
one MP in the world.
Okay, no idea who
The
that is.
only man who speaks on men's issues.
Oh, isn't he the one that basically was one of the volunteers to go... I think it was for women...
He joined the Women's and Equalities Commission,
Yes.
which is an Orwellian name in itself because
Yes.
although they're the Women's Committee,
There's
but they're
no-
called and Equality, but they have no remit to discuss the situation for men.
Yeah, and then they basically kicked him out because he said, okay.
No, he's in. I didn't
Is
know
he still in?
now.
I thought they wanted to kick him out.
Well, maybe
Well, the
they did.
women
I
wanted-
hadn't heard him being kicked off. Had not heard him.
Okay.
I mean,
I
of
hope
course
he
they
didn't.
want to kick him off. He's the enemy.
Well, that's the thing, and all he did to become the enemy is ask questions.
No, he's stand up for men.
Well,
No, he
yes,
has. He
is
has.
standing up for man. I agree, but he's doing so in the most inconspicuous way possible. He's asking questions.
Well, no, he's also trying to start debates and have discussions and.
Yeah, well, that's what asking questions is, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
You can ask a question of, say, a minister, but if you want to debate, you're actually then in a position to make statements, which is
Yeah, but I mean, it's a committee on the issue. So then you debate with each other on the issue, don't you?
No, but and this is my point. That's not all he does. He also tries to raise men's issues for their own sake
Okay.
outside the committee.
Okay. And I can remember that he was called a misogynist, yes.
Well, of course, he was called a misogynist. He's a man who doesn't
Even on
agree with
national-
feminism.
Even on national television.
Yeah, but
He
by
was-
such honest, trustworthy luminaries as Jess Phillips.
Yes. You know the one that will stab you in the front. Because
The
stabbing
most
in the-
lying, disgusting, hypocritical bigot of them all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Not much.
Is he speaking there? I know he spoke at the 2016 ICMI in London. He could be there due to go again.
I wouldn't know. Anyway, some of Boris Johnson's constituents say he's great, others wouldn't buy a second-hand car from him, and I'm like, he's a politician, who cares?
Well, yeah, and
Obviously.
you could say that of the constituents of any MP.
Yeah. Yeah. But, and this is very funny, come here you are. But with think tank research suggesting the prospective Prime Minister's seat could be vulnerable in the 2022 election, which may well come far sooner, the question of whether he could become the leader of the country only to lose his seat is a real problem. And I'm like, isn't that the very basic basis of politics? You can win today and lose tomorrow.
Hang on. Think tank onwards. I want to.
And hi there, Ludicrous, by the way.
Yeah, Michael Keller. I know it's a matter of perspective, and I was giving mine. That's all, just my perspective. Which is why I said still evening where I am. I didn't say it's still evening. I said where I am.
What are you on about now?
Okay, so Ludicrous comes in morning all. I said hi, and then I just commented a fact. Still evening where I am. Michael
So,
Keller says
Ludicrous, are you on holiday, mate?
he
I thought
has
he was-
been.
I thought he was hard at work trying to move house.
No, he's moved house.
Oh right, I'm behind on the reality of the world. I'm sorry,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
but have fun in your holiday, mate.
Well, he's nearly finished. What day is it? Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Anyway,
The research
So-
The research conducted by Think Tank Onwards is based on data that suggests that while the Conservative voter base is getting older, the demographic in Uxbridge and South Ruislip isn't aging to match. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? That his base isn't getting older? Doesn't make sense. And this one is really, this one I found really funny. Meanwhile, Labour challenger Ali Milani, you have to, I mean, a name like that must be a joke, but okay, claims that Miss Johnson has lost sight of local issues, including the local.
Was that a racist? Sorry, was that a racist comment about her name?
No, it's a comment about the name.
Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, Ali Milani.
Ali Milani. That's a silly name.
It could be a him. Could be a him. Sorry.
It is a him.
Okay. Was that racist comment about his
him.
name? Didn't mean to misgender him.
He's got a beard. He's got a beard and all, so I'm not misgendering.
No, Ali means you said is that name a joke?
Well, Ali Milani.
Yeah, and you said is that a joke? And I said, are you being racist about his name?
Right. Well, okay.
It's a throwaway quick model.
Yes. But I find it funny because he's already talking about how Johnson is doing a bad job because hospital are deemed inadequate by care quality commissions last year and education.
Oh, hang on. Last year. So he's been Prime Minister for what, a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And already he's inherited all the sins of his predecessor.
Ah, but this is kind of funny because if you look up, there we go, Mr. Milani.
Oh, he's a Labour challenger. Sorry, I was reading the chat. He's Labour challenger. So yeah, so his political opponent badmouths him. Well,
yeah, and he badmouths him for stuff. Well, he badmouths him for stuff that Boris Johnson can hardly be held responsible for. I mean, worst case scenario, he agreed with some of the things that are now causing these problems. But if that's the case, he's one of many. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. The whole thing about the polling. Well, we know how accurate that turns out, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Secondly, it is a well-known fact in the United Kingdom that approval for those in power goes down between elections. Yeah. It's like a saddle. It starts high, dips down, and goes up again.
But that's the whole thing. It's true for all politicians, isn't it? But I'm like, okay, if we look at including the local hospital being deemed inadequate. Now, local is, if I'm not mistaken, Uxbridge. I thought Uxbridge was part of London?
No.
Okay. So,
it's complicated.
But who's responsible for Uxbridge?
What is and isn't London is a very vague and amorphous thing.
Yes, apparently.
No, it is. Because you've got a contiguous area of housing, right? And some bits are identified uniquely and other bits aren't.
Yeah.
Some bits, like for instance, you've got Croydon, which is a big town in its own right in the heart of South London. And sometimes it's referred to as South London and sometimes as Croydon.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I went upstairs because I wanted to check...
it's okay, carry on.
From when it was. But I'm like, okay. So, and in 13 June, I think he wasn't the Prime Minister then?
Well, actually, technically, if scroll down, please. Oh, I'm looking at the stream, which is old, and I can't see it in the Hangout. You're not mirroring this in the Hangout, so I can't read it in real time.
What are we looking for?
No. Okay. you'd scrolled up, and then I realised that that's on a time lag because I'm seeing that on the YouTube stream. Then I realised I can't actually see it in line with what we're talking. Okay, whoa, up a bit. No, there was something I was just reading that was Modwin, share the fucking thing in Hangouts.
Let me see, one sec. Come here, you bloody Hangout page. I'm sorry, mate. Here we go. Here we go.
And then I can see what you're seeing at the time you're seeing it,
Yeah,
as opposed to 30 seconds
point.
late. Yeah, so scroll up a bit. Scroll up a bit.
Okay, one moment. Okay, scroll up. Up is the other way.
Yeah. Okay, stop.
This,
Well,
this is where we were.
No, down a bit. Just down a bit. The text between the two pictures. Right. He says here, right, what happens if a Prime Minister loses their seat? If a Prime Minister does lose their seat at election, the party will pick someone else to temporarily as a caretaker leader. Actually, this is not true. See, this is the darndest thing. What they could do is elevate him to the House of Lords, and then he could be the Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
Constitutionally, anyone can be in the government, and they don't actually have to have a seat in Parliament.
Okay.
Constitutionally.
Okay.
It's just convention.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to be back in the 19th century when most of the prime ministers were lords, they didn't sit in the House of Commons.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously since the 1928 Act, which gave universal suffrage, obviously it's not the done thing to not have an elected person as prime minister, but it's not, that's just convention, it's not against any rules. And Tony Blair, I think it was, actually took people from the House of Lords who'd never been a politician and had them act in his cabinet because they had expertise in some area he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the whole thing. Well, yeah, but he could lose his seat, and I'm like, how is that at all an argument when we're talking about politicians? Is there a politician out there that couldn't lose his seat?
Yeah, some of the Labour ones, because they voted Donkey in.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say, because if there is a politician who, no matter what he does, he can't lose his seat, and I'm like, well, that's a bad example for...
Well, no, the problem is basically we have 630 seats in the United Kingdom, and generally, when there's a general election, and I know the dynamics have changed a little bit now, but it used to be there were about 100 seats which were what they call marginals, that is liable to go one way or the other, and those were the 100 seats that mattered, and everyone else in the other seats, it was like, yeah, that's a foregone conclusion.
Well, one moment. My wife needed something. I'll be right back.
That's okay. You mute, and I'll.
Lock the mic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Do you need lunch?
No, Richard. I didn't hear about Don Lemon, but he's an American, so American media personality, and so honestly, I don't care. Sorry. It's like, we hear about all these American people, but we honestly don't care. Well, I don't personally. I shouldn't say we. I don't care. It's like,
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Modway,
yeah.
Did you hear about Don Lemon being sued for
I
sexual
saw
assault.
something, but I haven't read up on it. So
So
I
do you
can't-
care?
It's Don Lemon, of course I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. This was my point. Is he's an American television
No,
personality.
it's not so much that he's an American television person. It's Don Lemon. The dude can blatantly say, "Let's not demonize people, and white people are terrorists," in one sentence.
Oh, you mean a bit like the guys who you started with, whose articles demonized Trump by
Yeah.
claiming Trump demonized.
And he's a terrible.
Oh, and
together-
Anastax says, when you go away, mute yourself. I thought it was Fredo, not Frodo. with an E.
Did I
FR
not
yeah.
mute myself? I thought I muted myself.
Well, he just said he missed the mute button.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was gone for a second, and Cuomo getting called Fredo. Kind
No,
of
it says
funny.
Fredo, not Frodo.
It's
They're
Fredo.
different characters.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
kind
know
of
who Fredo is.
it's Fredo. Apparently, Fredo was a character in one of the Godfather movies,
Yes,
and
I
he's
was sorry,
basically
yeah,
the dumb brother.
Yeah, I did wonder, yeah. So Fredo was the brother from the Godfather, not Frodo from The Hobbit.
Yeah, and funny enough, I mean, he's upset about people calling him a Fredo, even though, in all fairness, he is the dumb brother because his brother is the governor. So I would say that being a governor means you're quite a little bit more important than an opinion piece on a news network that is losing track fast.
And Ludacris says, no, you didn't mute
Didn't I
yourself.
mute myself? Okay. I'm sorry, I thought
And
I
you
did.
often don't, this is the point.
Ah, okay. Well, I think I know what I did wrong then. My excuse. My wife apologizes as well. But I think I know what I did wrong then. Sorry. And Frodo was
He
in...
was a hobbit, I misspoke. He was in Lord of the Rings, for goodness sake, bloody pedant. Says the leprechaun.
And
Leprechaun isn't.
okay, Michael, I'm going to say you're correct. Being a governor does not require you a high IQ. But being a governor kind of still requires more IQ than being a talking head on CNN. Or MSNBC, which one is it? MSNBC, I
Oh,
think.
Cuomo's another journalist, is he?
He's not a journalist, though.
Well, I don't know. He's another television person.
Yeah, he's
not
a talking head.
Yeah, sorry, he's not a politician. Is my point. I don't know what he is. I've only heard the name from the governor one, and the governor being a wanker, and I don't pay any attention because I'm not American.
And in all fairness, there are clips where he himself called himself a Fredo. And somehow, calling someone a Fredo, according to Cuomo, is the same as calling someone a nigger. And I'm like,
What?
how the hell is that the same?
No, but not just that. But isn't
It's an
that the
actual
Baltimore all over again? I can say it about myself. Or what's his name? That moron who's just been fired from Vox allegedly.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Tim Pool released a video saying that somebody had reported that he'd been fired. Scroll back through my notifications. Oh, fuck's sake, touch screens! Oh, Jesus fucking wet. Honestly,
Anyway.
seriously. No, I'm rubbish with names. It's that guy who started the apocalypse, Vox Apocalypse, Carlos Marza.
Carlos Maza.
Yes, so 8 hours ago, Tim Pool uploaded Carlos Marza may have just been fired from Vox New York Post reports.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, of all the things that are F words that are like the N word and attack, I don't think Fredo's up there.
Yeah, but I don't understand because Fredo is actually a name. And okay, Fredo was the stupid brother in Godfather. Yes.
Just list off who is not a wanker and save time. Good night. That's all we've got time for.
Just list off who is not a wanker.
Yeah, so I said good night.
Anyway, what do the locals have to say? As a mayor, I think I saw enough of him, to be honest. And I'm like, you know what? No matter how bad you think Johnson was as a mayor, you now have Sadiq Khan.
No, he
I'm not
means
even
the,
going to
mayor
bother
of
making...
Uxbridge.
Sorry?
He means the mayor of Uxbridge, doesn't he? Oh no, sorry. When he was Johnson was mayor. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, but Johnson was mayor of London, not of Uxbridge.
No. I thought that guy. See, the problem is that's an ambiguous statement. It said, "As the mayor, I think I saw enough of him." That
Yeah.
implies the mayor is the first I. As the mayor, I. So, not when he was the mayor, I think I saw enough of him,
Yeah, I
which would be an
understand what you
accurate
mean.
statement about Johnson being the mayor. As the mayor, I think I saw enough of him, implies he was the mayor, and therefore I read it that he was the mayor of Uxbridge.
But I don't think he was.
Well, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. If it wasn't, that's a shit sentence because it doesn't convey the meaning.
And this is a funny thing as well, but this shows you how brilliant the writer of this piece is. Josh Surrey helps run a flower stand outside Uxbridge Underground Station, which gets most of its stock from Holland. And then I'm going to say, show me on the map where Holland is. I'll
North
give
or
you...
south?
Well, that's the thing though, that they didn't say north or south, they just said Holland. And that Holland doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's what the English colloquially called the Netherlands.
Yes. Which is wrong.
Of course it's wrong.
So you
Racist. Misgender your country.
misgendering the
something.
country. Yeah, but you'd think that they would at least... I mean, because it's not... He says he gets his stock from Holland. They say it.
Yeah.
And for that reason, he says that Brexit can't be a good idea. Even though that in the Netherlands, most people that are predominantly moving their gear towards England are like, you know what? Even if they jump out of the European Union today, we've always been able to trade with the UK.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't see a problem.
And just remember that the other article was attacking Boris Johnson. Somebody had raised money for a private prosecution of Boris Johnson for lying about Brexit.
Yeah.
And this guy has clearly been lied to about Brexit from the other side.
Yeah.
The world will end if there's a no deal. No.
But there are people who are still in favour of him. But
Oh yeah, and apparently, Modlane, the Swiss and the Germans are also non-PC in relation to the name of your country.
Yeah, but it depends though, because the people call it Holland, but when you mention them in official texts, like newspaper,
Yeah, but this is a
etc.
newspaper article. Is not an official text. I'm sorry.
No. This is official enough. Normally,
It's not official. Official has a
normally in
meaning.
newspapers, articles, news
Are not
articles.
official. Official means under some sort of governmental.
No. It doesn't have to be governmental. If you as a newspaper publish something, then that is your
Then
word.
No, but it's not official.
Well, all right then. You can call it whatever you want. But it has to be factual. And in newspapers, they usually don't say the Netherlands. Sorry, they don't say Holland. They say the
Oh
Netherlands.
yeah, but isn't this a local area rag? You're not talking. You are not talking about the creme de la creme. I don't know why I'm starting that sentence. As if the journalists for outlets like The Guardian and The Independent, well, any of them, let's be honest, any of them.
Anyway,
Oh, in
now
any way.
now we get to the
Incredible.
very interesting article John wanted to have us
Talk
join
about.
with you.
Yes.
Because
Caroline Lucas's batshit craziness. And I first want to talk about her initial proposal for a all-female cabinet.
But I don't understand the headlines. I mean, she wants an all-female emergency cabinet to stop no-deal Brexit and push for a second referendum. But that's not her job. Are you still there, mate?
She's a Green MP. The Green MP, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a grand total of one. Yes,
Yeah.
bloody nut job feminazi, exactly, Anna Tate. But wait till it comes to the utter this is why I said, okay, when you actually hear the garbage reasoning she comes out with, it looks like some of these feminists actually believe their own bullshit.
Well, they got two pictures, and this is what they look like. And I'm like, this is probably one picture, right?
Yeah. No, well, it's probably using a generic mechanism. Don't worry. Crikey, if anyone wants to see what she looks like, they can always do their own search.
No, I don't care, but it says that there are one...
Don't ignore it. Don't get distracted by irrelevancies.
See?
Please,
That's-
Madeleine.
Well, it's Yahoo
Jeez.
News, so who cares? But okay, back to this though. I mean, emergency cabinet, I can somewhat understand. If the real cabinet dies, then there should be a second.
No, but she's saying she's proposing it anyway. Like an emergency cabinet. Who says there's an emergency?
Well, that's the thing, though. Well, no, but it's good to. I think they also call it a shadow cabinet.
No,
That
they
if
don't.
the original cabinet.
No,
you're
they
correct.
don't.
Yeah, you're correct.
No, they don't.
No, but if something would happen with the original cabinet.
No. The shadow cabinet is an entirely different function. Basically, because we have a two-party system, you have Her Majesty's government and you have Her Majesty's opposition. The opposition is the second party in Parliament. Mm-hmm. They have shadow spokespeople for all the government officers.
Okay.
So that if you have a minister, the Home Minister, so that's the person in charge of that. They're the number three in government. In government, so you've got the Prime Minister, the Chancellor Exchequer, then you've got the Home Minister and the Foreign Minister. Okay, they're the top four. Okay, and so you've got the Home Minister. You'll have a shadow Home Minister, and the purpose of the shadow Home Minister, that person's job, is to be the person who focuses on the issues that the Home Minister focuses on. So they shadow those in government. That is, it's not a replacement.
Okay.
Okay, they're just the shadow, as in they match up one to one. So you have one person here, and you have the shadow person in the same field, and so forth.
Then okay. So, what would that emergency cabinet be? Would that be a cabinet to overrule?
No, an emergency cabinet is basically what she's saying is if because the government forms because it can command a majority, right?
Uh-huh.
That's why after Theresa May's disastrous 2017 election, she had to get into a deal with the Democratic Unionist Party of Northern Ireland because she did not have enough seats just within the Conservative Party. They needed to come into an arrangement with another party so that they could guarantee enough votes on most issues. Okay. If you are in a situation now where enough of the government's MPs defect or refuse to support the government, then the government couldn't govern. Mm-hmm. But no other coalition of parties could govern either. Then you won't have a government, so you would call a election, or what she's saying is you could have an all-female emergency cabinet. But again, it's a nonsense because the cabinet are all the main government positions. But the problem is the cabinet is made up from those MPs who make up the majority and therefore the government. So to merely select an emergency cabinet is meaningless, because unless that cabinet was backed by enough MPs, nothing they suggested would ever pass.
So basically, an emergency cabinet is just
A nonsense. It is a moronic suggestion by a moron.
But if she would start this and people would support her, and then the politicians would support her.
Yeah, well, I mean, individual politicians can advocate for what they want.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean it's likely or going to happen.
true that, true that, true that.
But the point was her reasoning. So scroll down a bit. So it says, so why women is towards the top.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Why women?
Okay.
Because I believe women have shown they can bring a different perspective to a crisis, are able to reach out to those they disagree with, and cooperate to find a solution. But
First, I believe. Yeah, well, you can believe what you want. Doesn't mean it's true. And we know from the evidence of all female companies that females all working together is a disaster
yeah, but
in general.
yeah, but what I find interesting, because I'm not even going to go on what she believes or not. This is the one thing that I find funny. I believe women have shown they can bring a different perspective to a crisis, are able to reach out to those they disagree with, and cooperate to find a solution. But if that's true, she doesn't need an emergency cabinet, because she could deal with a cabinet.
Well, I mean, as I say, he's entirely deluded. And then in the next sentence, she says, a government of national unity must do exactly that, unite parties. And I believe a cross-party cabinet of women. So, rejecting 48% of the population on grounds of sex, otherwise known as sexism, will be a government of national unity and unite parties. Okay. As I said, this is a kind of deluded feminist bullshit that you don't think anyone actually believes.
Uh-huh.
And yet she does. She's saying this. She's making a statement. She's not seeing any contradiction in specifically choosing women because they are women, and only women because they are women. She doesn't see there's any contradiction in that. And equality and, national unity.
And I have to admit, with Ludicrous Leprechaun here, men have never ever cooperated
No, of course
in a
not.
crisis, obviously.
Because she's believing the feminist bullshit that all men do is compete, whereas men overwhelmingly cooperate. It will do, because it will unite everyone against them. But the point is, as I say, okay, so you get 15 women, they form a cabinet. And how do they get any votes in Parliament?
Well, I'm curious which women they are.
Well, it doesn't really matter. Let's just talk about it in the abstract. That in Parliament, you say, right, we're going to have a cabinet and it's going to be 15 women. And these 15 women have all agreed to do this. Okay. And how do you become the cabinet? By commanding the majority of support in Parliament. So it doesn't matter whether these 15 women want to do it or not. It's a matter of whether the other 615 want them to.
Well, yeah. And this is also funny. I mean, what's this part here? Turning down her invitation, Miss Thornbury said the plan would not solve our country division, but instead risk worsening the feelings of anger and resentment held by the public towards Parliament, which is, in all fairness, very
No,
true.
that's a very good and insightful comment. Saying, I mean, she didn't say why it would do those things, but to be fair, she doesn't have to. But it's inaccurate,
And
In other words, she's saying your idea is stupid and will make matters worse. I mean, God, can you imagine if they did a poll of Caroline Lucas's constituents in the way that it just did with Boris Johnson's.
Yeah. But then again, she probably comes from a place where this.
No, she's the MP for Brighton, and that is the only place in the country that could have a Green MP. And yes, there are enough people there to get her elected, but it doesn't mean everyone there supports this kind of lunacy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other MPs contacted by Mrs. Luker are Conservatory Cabinet Minister Justice Greening, Labour backbencher Yvette Cooper, SNP. What's SNP again?
Scottish National Party.
Oh, right. That
You
one.
know, the Third Reich for Scotland.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to bother with the names. And this is another fun article. This little bit goes to the next fun article on the topic. Because it's not silly enough that she went to say she wanted a shadow emergency cabinet, not shadow cabinet. I'm sorry. But by doing so, she created the ire of people because she only
wasn't
included
woke
white
enough.
women.
She wasn't woke enough. She didn't notice her implicit racism.
How brilliant is that?
Not enough whamming of colour.
No, that's women is okay, but you have to have black women as well. What's
No,
that
and
black-
Indian.
Yeah.
I mean, in the UK, there are more people of Indian descent, I would suspect, than black people here.
No, makes sense.
Or as many, especially now with all those recent immigrants from Pakistan.
Do you have Pakistani in Parliament?
Well, of course I do. My MP's are Pakistani, and I don't just mean origin. He was actually born in Pakistan, and his mother was a Pakistani government minister.
Okay.
Which is a bit odd, because we think of Pakistan as very backwards in Islam. But if anyone remembers Benazir Bhutto, who was Prime Minister of Pakistan as a woman a long time ago.
True that. But in all fairness, Pakistan wasn't as much of a mess then as it is now.
Oh no, that's what I'm trying to say is that we have views of countries,
Why
and
is
some
it
countries
that?
have changed a lot very quickly.
It won't allow me. It won't allow me to stay on this page. I don't know why.
Because you're a boomer.
As soon as I click here, boom.
Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Well, we've said what we wanted to say. All right, I get it.
No, there's
So-
an X. Click the X.
There's an X. Where's the X?
Oh, for goodness sake, are you blind? Across, down, across,
This
across. A big X, blue circle with an X to the right. Oh, for fuck's
This
sake.
one.
No.
Which one then?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking in the wrong screen.
Oh!
I'm a boomer too. I'm older than he is.
Oh my God! Oh, wait a second. I'm wrong. That's
Yay.
all right though.
If you
So-
can't laugh at me, who can you laugh at? I'm here
That
to
is-
be laughed at.
That is true.
Sorry, I'm looking in the wrong.
So yeah, we could talk about Don Lemon now if people still want to talk about Don Lemon. I don't know. Let me see. It's on the Mail Online. Is Don Lemon is sued by a Hampton bartender over alleged assault after grabbing his genitals, then shoving his fingers in the man's face and asking, "Do you like
Pussy or dick?
while out partying?" Maybe I should share the screen again.
No, well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I know women won't get into trouble for sexually assaulting a man, but it's nice at least that somebody is being in trouble for sexually assaulting a man. And I'm not saying, yes, he needs due process. Absolutely agree, Richard Baird. Absolutely. And I'm not saying he's guilty, but at least somebody is starting to say, oh, men can be sexually assaulted.
Yeah. And in all fairness, the only thing I know about Don Lemon, this could be true, this could not be true, but I think the man is a hypocrite, regardless.
Oh yeah, but the whole point is that when you are charged with a crime, your character is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is, did you do it?
True that.
And
well, he categorically denies it, so
yeah, well, I mean, he would. Okay,
Yeah.
he would. So again, the claim and the denial are both take with a bucket load of salt. Is like, okay, maybe they are true, maybe they're not. But the mere fact that it is in the news that a man was sexually assaulted and that it matters, that is to me, that is what's significant.
yeah.
Because the whole feminist argument is, oh, it doesn't matter if a woman grabs a man by the genitals because he'll never object. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I like the fact how he's Don Lemon is always anti-white guy, while at the same time being married to a white guy. So.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, the politics of these people is always, it's ideology, not how they live, if you know what I mean. Oh, so he was cheating on his husband as well.
I don't know. I mean, if you grab your own crotch, because it looks, if I read this, he was grabbing the genitals. Don Lemon is sued by Hampton bartender over alleged assault after grabbing his genitals, then shoving his finger in the man's face. So, whose genital did he grab? Did he grab his own?
Well, the his should refer. Yeah, well, it is again ambiguous, but
Yeah.
I would have read that as the Hampton bartender's genital. You would add the word own, grabbing his own genital,
Yeah, but
to
because
imply Don Lemon was grabbing Don Lemon's.
Yeah, but he
Genital.
grabbed his own. Mr. Lemon, who was wearing a pair of shorts, sandals and a t-shirt, put his hand down the front of his own shorts and vigorously rubbed his
So it was his
genitalia.
own genitals. So you see his own shorts, you see. So there they use the word own, which clarifies.
Yeah, but they didn't clarify it in the
So what he did was he grabbed his crotch, presumably to get some scent on it, on
Yeah,
his
and then
hand,
he
and then
pushed
stuck those hands under the plaintiff's nose.
Yeah,
Okay, so he didn't actually assault him. So it's alleged assault, except he didn't assault him
yeah. I mean,
because he
it's
just waved his
his
sweaty hand
Yeah, I mean,
in the
it's
vicinity of somebody's face. And disgusting though that is
it's not a
that assault? You've
No.
not touched someone, you've not,
No. So, yeah, I still think the dude's a hypocrite, but this.
I mean, you
doesn't
could
sound
call
like
it gross and lewd and obscene
Lewd
behaviour.
behaviour.
Well, certainly in the United Kingdom, where they're very big on what's the word? Prosecuting the wrong sorts for that sort of behaviour. That is perfectly acceptable in the right kind of clubs.
You really think that's assault on your tuck?
Now, Richard Byer, you said the feminist grabbed the male reporter. Yes, that is exactly
Yeah, that's a different
20
story
day
though.
probation. Yeah,
Yeah, that's nigh on.
he could be diseased. Yeah,
Well, he
but if
could
he's
be.
in public with him, I'm not convinced that touching a part of your body and then putting your hand near somebody else, one part of you makes any difference to another part of you.
And I'm wondering, the Hamptons. Where are the Hamptons again?
The Hamptons are a very posh suburb of New York, I think, on Long Island.
Okay, because yeah,
Where the very rich and famous go. So the very fact
Okay.
that it's already in the Hamptons is a sign of Mr. Lemon's privilege.
yeah. I'm not quite sure if scent in this way is the same.
Well,
as
no,
throwing a
it says
milkshake
throwing
down
milk.
the
It's not the
crust.
same as throwing a milkshake. A throwing milkshake is the liquid lands on you.
Yeah, that actually is assault, but smell. Anyway, so yeah, this kind of seems like a non-story.
Well, no. I mean, is it unless this is part because doesn't Don Lemon always just be a complete dick and everyone hates him, and so isn't this a way of levering him out?
Yeah, maybe. Scent assault. I find that funny. Anyway,
Yeah, exactly. And my point, Michael Keller, was why is like if I run my hand down my arm, why is that any better than grabbing my groin because you don't know where my arm has been? It could be unsanitary too, and it could have, has more likelihood of contact with exterior substances that could then be bad to pass on.
this is a completely different story when done about politics for now. Let me put this one there and then this one back
Oh,
up.
this one, yeah.
This is something I kind of wanted to bring forth as well. A man jailed for 44 years for murdering toddler who was repeatedly bitten and burned. Now, a Sydney man named Mohammed Kazma, so there is that, is jailed for the murder of a 2-year-old girl who was repeatedly bitten, beaten and burned with a cigarette lighter. And this happened when the mother, was actually part of the whole story. It's not that he did this when she was gone or anything. What I found interesting, and I'm not quite sure if I can see it. Where is it? He didn't even deny most of the things, I think. But he did attempt to blame the mother for the girl's extensive injuries during the trial. But the mother can't be completely, how do you call it, exhumed of responsibility. And
Yeah, but okay, I'm sorry. It says,
yeah,
oh, you do this, you keep scrolling just up a bit from where it is. Okay, so it says, attempted to blame the mother, okay, and then it says his denials backfired when Justice Elizabeth Fullerton noted his reluctance to take any responsibility. I'm sorry. There's a fundamental difference between who did it and admitting that you had a responsibility to try and prevent it.
yeah,
And
yeah. But it gets worse.
you could no, but you can't go from no, it wasn't me, it was her, to but you don't take any responsibility. Yeah, okay, because being there and present and not, being more serious about addressing the issue is something to condemn, but it's not the same as the person who actually did it. Jesus fucking with these
Yeah,
people.
but it gets worse because they murdered a 2-year-old girl. Yeah, so there is absolutely nothing I'm going to say in defense of these people. Actually, I'm not in favor of the death penalty, but for stuff like this, they can bring it back.
No, they can't, because he's probably innocent. This is my point.
No,
The fact that no, the point is this. All they've said here is He's saying it was a mother, and they're saying, "Oh, but you didn't take any personal responsibility." I'm sorry, those aren't the same thing. Those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's got 44 years with a non-parole period of 33 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And what did she get?
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because she pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets
To
44,
me,
she gets 3.
Both of them should never return into society.
No, but here's the point. She admitted guilt,
Yeah.
and he said it wasn't him, so they throw the book at him, sentence him for 33 years minimum, and she gets 18 months, 16 months. I mean, come on.
Well, I think...
No, this is what happens when... let's just suppose, for a minute, he is innocent. So he's not going to go for a plea deal because that's a lie. And for his attempts to stand up to the truth, they throw the book at him.
Yeah.
Well,
in this
it's
case,
a fair cop, yeah, I did it, and it's only manslaughter. Plea deal bullshit. She gets 16 months. I mean, what's the ratio of 33 years to 16 months? It's like 20 times, 25 times? I'm sorry, there is not a 25-time difference in what they did.
No,
Just
actually,
because
I
he
think,
denies wrongdoing and she copped to it.
in all fairness, I would say they are both equally responsible and equally to blame.
I don't care about responsibility. I care about who did it. That is the purpose of the law. This is what we were talking about earlier. The only thing that matters is not the character. It's not their attitude. It's who did it.
Well, I think Cosma actually did do something, because if you say something like, I didn't mean to kill her, yeah. I mean, I don't think he's 100% innocent. I can't see it here. I had a different article for this last time. But there were probable human bite marks, but they did match some of them to the teeth of, well, both him and her.
Okay.
But the fact that she pleads manslaughter. So she pleads basically, yeah, no, I did this. And she only got 3 years. Beyond stupidity. The both of them should never return.
Yeah. This is my point. My point was the ratio of 33 years minimum to 16 months does not, to me, reflect the difference. Okay?
Yeah.
That's my point.
True that. But there was another story in... Where was it? In Sydney? I'm going to look at it real fast. There was another attack. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Not going to do that. I am going to do this though.
Sydney terror attack. When was that?
Actually, yesterday? The day before that.
Well, it's yesterday's date, but yeah, so it's probably.
I'm not going to show the video. There's nothing much to see. But a man attempted to mass stab innocent people in Sydney, even though they did find... I don't think it's already in this article, because I think they found it later.
a lot. Sorry, I've read it. Allahu Akbar, shoot to me. They don't normally do the second 2 words.
Oh, I'm sorry, what did you mean? Oh,
no, it says Allahu Akbar, shoot me. And they don't normally say the second 2 words.
Yeah.
Well, not yet established a motive. He was suicidal and insane.
Well, probably.
No, what do you mean? Allahu Akbar, shoot me. Come on. If that's not suicidal...
Yeah, because there's nothing better than being a martyr, isn't there?
No, but I mean... Calling on those around you to kill you is suicidal.
I know.
By definition.
This is not it. Is this it? Let me see. Because there was.
They've even said that. Not sure what other evidence they need to make
Today's
that
terror
connection.
attack in Sydney. This is what we know so far.
So I'm not going to play you, mate. But this is what I found funny because he had a knife. They use a milk crate and chairs to to confine him. Brilliant. But unfortunately, even though he did stab a few people, someone not too far from this incident, a woman was also stabbed and she was dead. And I'm not sure if they.
Why is his trousers round his waist, below his waist?
What do you mean?
Well, scroll up. There.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know
got
what
his
happened
trousers down.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I'm not going to look at this one.
Maybe they used his belt to tie his hands.
Maybe. But
No,
anyway,
they could've
they did. I'm just going to go back to my background. They did find, unfortunately, a woman that has been had been stabbed to death with multiple stab wounds, which is tied to this guy as well. So.
No, but the funny thing is they're calling this a terror attack. Whereas
No.
I know he shouted Allahu Akbar, but the shoot me shows a greater motivation for suicide than for fighting for a cause.
Well.
No, because if you are fighting for a cause, you might expect to be shot. You might expect not to live. But you would just kill as many people as possible. You won't be going, shoot me.
Yeah, it is weird. I'll have to admit that it is weird. Okay. I'm sorry. That's a video. What's that a video of? Michael Keller. Hey, Smarkus.
Hi, yes, hi, smokers.
Good evening, sir. Haven't seen you around for a while.
Oh, I'll tell you what, mate. I'm going to pull it up in another window. Okay. And then I'll let you know what it is when I've had it running a moment. If I can do it. £80 ticket to felony in 321. A woman refuses to pay $80 ticket, then refuses to be arrested, then drives away. She could have avoided all of this if she had simply accepted the ticket.
But do they have to accept a ticket?
Well, yeah. If the police stop you and want to give you a ticket, you have got a ticket. It's a fact. You can't just then just say no. I'm refusing to accept it. I'm not sure.
Well,
I think it might be American dollar. It doesn't say because it's from ABC, so that could be Australian bigoted cunts or American bigoted cunts. So I don't know. It doesn't say where, but yeah. So that's what the video is, mate. If you want to, it's a 3-minute 22 video.
What do you think? Should we do it?
No.
Clear enough.
No, I mean, okay. So we get this with the Black Lives Matters all the time. It's if you refuse to comply with the law, you are inviting trouble. Because, okay, let's suppose she doesn't accept the ticket. Then she can what's the word? Appeal it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But by refusing to accept it in the first place, you're committing an offence.
Yeah, that's something I don't understand, to be honest.
And it's the same with all these people who end up getting shot. It's if they just complied, if they just were calm and peaceful, nothing would happen. It's entirely their reaction that causes the later problems. But all it is police brutality, police brutality. What are the police supposed to do? They're just trying to do their jobs. They might be wrong.
Yeah.
Then that can be appealed after. but you don't escalate the situation. You don't resist.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, in the Netherlands, if the police stop me and they want to give me a ticket, I don't have to accept the ticket. Because I'm going to get sent, how do you call those things?
Summons?
That you can, yeah, no, not a summons. Like a bill over the mail.
Yeah.
So that I can pay anyway. So whether I accept the ticket or not, they're going to send it to me anyway.
Yeah, I think it's because from what it was looking like, is they wanted her to sign. So he'd filled out his report. He was going to pass the thing. Then she had to sign to say, yes, this is what happened.
Yeah, but even that...
No, I'm just saying, I think that was where the...
Invoice, thank you,
payment.
Michael Keller.
Well, it's not an invoice. It's a charge. Charge
Well-
is not an invoice. But anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, okay, you can be asked to sign.
No, but I'm saying that's what she was refusing. That is, he wanted to hand her the thing to sign, and she refused. Whatever. Just details. Just details. Not the point. I mean, as you say, they could have just said, "Okay, fine, we'll follow her up."
Yeah, I mean, we know who you are. We know where.
Well, they
know where
do,
your
because that's
house
why it
lives.
became a felony. That's why it became a felony, because if she was anonymous, then it wouldn't have been able to become.
Hello.
Hey, Smirkus, you came to join us, mate.
Yep.
Hello, mate. Yes.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How about yourselves?
Well, I've got a toothache, but other than that, there's always something with me.
Shit. Either body falling apart or toothache.
Wait till you get to my age, mate, and then the literally bits dropping off. Well, not literally. And not dropping off.
So you thought I'll join in for the last 20 minutes?
You know, better
Why
late
not?
than never.
Why not? I think great, excellent.
Hey, welcome. Of course you are.
I checked my phone and I saw you were streaming. I was like, fuck! It's already
You mean
1
you
a.m.
don't have-
How far in are they?
You mean you don't have a? All it's simple, right? Set alarms. Wednesday, 11:30. Saturday, 11:30. That's it. Done. Then we're streaming. And I've even converted from proper time to continental time for you.
All
It's
right,
alright.
Ludicrous, it's a fine. I never understood why they call it fine.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
how
fine.
are you? Fine. Sorry,
Ah,
silly.
well. Interesting etymology, no doubt.
Oh, there was another story that I thought was interesting.
Or a ticket. A ticket to where? Yeah.
No. It was a video Michael Keller put in the chat about a woman in America. It
Yeah,
was
I heard.
police body cam footage of a woman basically refusing to accept the ticket she was being given for some kind of traffic offence.
Well, they usually ask you if your address is still current, so they could have fucking sent it to your house.
Well, apparently she just drove away, and then that just becomes an escalation of yet more charges they can bring. But she's got female privilege, so I will wait to see if anything actually happens.
Female
She-
privilege.
Yeah, well, female privilege.
Like that buys you anything.
Like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like as someone put in the chat when we were talking about a man being sexually assaulted. A female reporter sexually assaulted a guy, and she got probation, 20 days probation. Yay! And if it were the other way around, a couple of years.
Don't
And
even
that-
get me started again about cops doing their goddamn job.
No, but that is female privilege. It's entirely based on the respective sexes of the people involved, not the crime itself.
Hey, if they truly want equality, they need longer sentences.
Well,
Not just that.
I think to a sense, what we should do, like in the UK, they reckon that if men were given the same punishments as women for the exact same crimes, 5 out of 6 men in prison would be released.
Yeah.
In which
Probably.
case, that would save a shitload of money
Dude,
and
wouldn't
solve the prison crisis, wouldn't it?
they have served like 8 times their time over if you applied those rules for people sitting already?
Well, I mean, men get 6 times the punishment.
Yeah.
So, no, sorry, the census gap is 60%. My bad maths. But anyway, the point being is that we shouldn't make women's punishments harsher. We should make men's punishments more lenient, because we know from the reasoning they use when they apply to women that the crimes, the sentences given to men are too harsh.
Well, would Trina's awkward feminist dating platform is still sexist thing be worth debating? Yeah, maybe, but not for today, because we have about 20 minutes.
Who's Trina Orchard feminist dating platform? Hey, can I say I fully encourage a feminist dating platform?
Yeah. Makes
No,
it a lot
I
easier to
really
avoid.
am in favour, because then it's like they're over there and you can just avoid them.
Yeah, no shit.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, you feminists, off you go, and all
Yeah.
the male feminists, off you go. You keep away from the normal people.
It's like,
Yeah.
you go over there and we'll hang out on the fun side.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Easier to keep track of.
Yeah. And we'll just go la 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 to shut out the screaming you do at each other.
Hmm?
Not according to Trina. What's not according to Trina, Michael? If she's got a dating platform, then surely she thinks it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea, therefore they should be over there.
Hmm?
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't sexist. I said it was a good idea, Michael. Not the same thing.
Well,
And I can't see a link for that particular story.
anywho, I'm thinking about something else but can't find it.
Yeah, I think the female feminists getting the male feminist is karmic justice, ludicrous. You haven't linked the article, Michael.
Okay, that doesn't
Can't
make any sense.
read
You're wearing
an
it here.
article you haven't linked.
This might be interesting too. This apparently is at a... Oh, wait a sec. You're not going to see what I'm doing. I wasn't looking for this. I was looking for something else, but this came along and yeah, makes sense. Don't you? Wait a sec.
No.
Did you say show, by the way? Because I wasn't on time to push the button on show.
What?
Oh, okay. That
What?
means no. I got this message whether I want to show something or hide
Oh,
something.
sorry.
Did you?
I wasn't. I didn't hear the context. Yes.
Well, perfect. That's perfectly all right. Otherwise,
Maybe
I
you
would have.
did link it, Michael Keller, but it's not showing in the chats.
What are we talking about?
The Trina article.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't see the link to that one either. I mean, I can see the YouTube thingy, but I don't see a link to the article. That's also why I was curious, Michael.
Yeah, the only link showing is the one for the woman with the felony, with the car problem.
Yeah.
And no other link showed up. Sorry.
But
Then
I wanna-
unblock that line. Can't unblock something that can't see.
Just reset.
Well, I wanted to give you a wrench, Michael.
Yeah,
but you didn't
exactly.
want it.
Exactly. Thank you, Smirkers. Just repaste it, you idiot. No good saying I did link it. We're saying we can't see it. Saying it's not there. Just put it back in again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michael, we haven't seen the link. Anyway, I wanted to show this one because this is also quite interesting. And of course, then it goes wrong. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Pluralist.
I so
Trina.
dislike.
There's no, the links, fucked.
Where are you now? Okay, guys, you're watching me look for it. Because somehow I must have misclicked something.
Mudwayne, Michael Keller wants you to sexually assault him.
Oh, all right. There you go. You are now linked. And I'm still looking for that thing I wanted to show, and now I haven't got it anymore. And there is the Trina Pluralis. Pluralist.com. Come on. Oh, I so dislike that. Okay, so I should be close by now, I think. Should be.
These bitches are never happy, are they?
Nope. That is actually it's like I don't know whether it's causation or just immense correlation between
This is so weird. As soon
these
as I
people
started,
and their state of mind.
as soon as I start the video that I wanted to show you guys, it just stops.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think YouTube is getting a bit fed up of us, maybe.
No, I'm on Twitter. I'm not on YouTube.
Yeah, but we're on YouTube.
Seems like it's only a little bit further down.
No, it's. Anyway,
there it is.
fuck it. It's basically they're at the gay pride event, and there's a guy walking around with a Che Guevara shirt, and I'm like, how stupid?
Oh yeah.
can you
I
be?
saw that, and the guy who killed gays, blacks,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyone he didn't like, but especially gays. In this context, makes sense.
Yes. And it's like, and liberals can't wait for his revolution.
Yeah. Because we haven't had that before.
I never understood the Che Guevara thing, to be honest. Because, I mean, it goes back, you know, being old, back to the 70s, he was somebody, and it was like, it's like no one ever said why. Okay, there's just this guy with a beret who looks a bit cool if you're into that sort of look.
Well, the thing is, he's, how do you call it? He was a revolutionary. He was. Unfortunately, what a lot of people have forgotten is that he was the sort of revolutionary that killed innocent people. That couldn't fight back. So I'm not quite sure how that's a positive thing, but yeah, that might be just me.
Isn't that called acceptable casualties?
Yeah, not to me it isn't.
Sorry, stupid gamer joke.
Yeah.
There might be civilians in the area. You mean acceptable casualties?
Yeah. That's the thing, though.
Well, probably acceptable in their case.
Well, they might
In
think
his
it's
case.
acceptable.
In his mind, I guess.
Anyway, let's click at that linky thingy. Because I haven't seen the plural as well. My god, that woman is ugly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Hello everyone, I am Eric Alden. Welcome back to Our Dark History, where we discuss the darkest
What's this?
people,
I'm
places,
sorry,
and
guys.
events in human
I
history.
moved over something, and obviously that's when it starts
Oh,
playing.
Jesus wept.
Happens sometimes. Let me see. There is that. Okay, let's look at the link from Michael Keller about. I mean, doesn't she look like Carrot Top?
Carrot Top?
Who the fuck is
That
Carrot
is-
Top?
Yeah, no, I mean neither. I think it's some sort of pop culture reference.
Yes. Okay, let me see. This is Carrot Top. And this.
Okay.
It has all gone to poo.
No, but seriously. This is Carrot Top. Am I wrong, people?
I mean,
I can't sit that.
I think she looks like Carrot Top.
Well, it has got a similar shirt on, that kind of.
Yeah, the hair. Well, it's a deeper shade of red.
Yeah, but the
And the
face doesn't
face.
really look. It's just, and no, I'm sorry. After 2 seconds looking, no, the similarity is very superficial.
Anyway, feminist joins empowering dating app, begs for the return of patriarchy after constant rejection. I'm not quite sure what the patriarchy will do for her.
No. To be fair, when Michael Keller introduced the article, he said her dating app. It's not her dating app. It's her criticism of somebody else's dating app, and
No,
that's
no.
what confused me. Because why would she condemn her own dating app? But he didn't mean that.
Yeah, but I mean, with a face like that, why would she beg for the return of the patriarchy after constant rejection? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what
Well,
the
you have
patriarchy
to
can do in
read
this
the
case.
article. It's a very amusing way.
She's a professor as well.
Well, of course.
That says it all, doesn't it? Okay, in a blog post Sunday that the Bumble dating app failed to deliver on its promise of female empowerment. How is a dating app giving empowerment?
By making women the ones who get to choose. So it's reversing the typical traditional gender roles.
But
So instead of men approaching women, the feminist notion is women get to approach men.
yeah, who then say, okay, I'll look at you, I see you, and you're a feminist.
And
Nah.
all of a sudden, instead of going, oh, this gives me empathy for men because they've had this since the dawn of time, it's, I don't like it, it makes me feel bad, I want it to go back the way it was.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing. It's almost as if she's complaining that she hasn't the right to choose, whereas sociologically speaking, women initiate contact, women initiate sex on average. So yeah, kind of weird. Oh, 1 sec, guys. I'll be AFK for a sec.
Oh, and we have silence. We have silence. Oh, and he's back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Well, I had to turn off the echo. I was getting a little bit cold.
I know it's cooled down a bit. We've had lots of storms here.
Yeah, the echo is not running to cool down at the moment, but it's to
Thank God.
dehumidify the air.
Wear earplugs and carry a paper bag. No, Anatech. Seriously not. Anyone who has any engagement with a feminist woman deserves all the false allegations they're going to get. You know, I'm sorry, if you're that stupid, that them being a feminist is not all the warning you need.
Yeah, if you need more warning than that, I'm sorry, mate.
I'm sorry, you know, and it's like nothing is worth that pain.
But I'm not quite understanding this. So, Trina Orchard,
Yeah, of course,
is the
of course,
one-
Richard. Of course, Richard. because the patriarchy is only bad for things women don't like. And when they say women don't like, they mean feminists don't like, because it's only a very narrow, very restricted view of the world that they have.
But Sissoon decided that being empowered is sexist too. So not being empowered is sexist, but being empowered is sexist too. Is there a not sexist position that we can choose from?
Don't be silly. It's feminism.
She expresses resentment.
Something is really sexist, so they demand to change. And when the change doesn't work out as planned, that's really sexist.
It's really weird. I mean, will he respond? Will this one like me? I'm sorry. How did that whole what was the app called where you could swipe left, swipe right?
Tinder.
Yeah. And women on average considered that only 20% of men looked average.
Yeah. Above average.
No.
No, 20% of men looked above average and 80% below average.
Yeah, well.
No, it's important. Means different things.
Yeah, not really though, because
And it wasn't actually Tinder that they did the study on.
well, it was one of those swipe apps.
Yeah, I know, but it's a well-known, frequently discussed study, and it was for women. Only 20% of men are above average, and for men, it was a normal distribution.
Yeah, because
The point
average means average.
the point being is that we know from history women go for the top men. That's what hypergamy is.
Yeah. But I find it so interesting that she's like, how can you complain that you have a problem with it because you don't know if they will respond? Because that's what men go through every time.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, instead of thinking, getting empathy for men and going, oh, this is what men have always had for all of time. Maybe I'll be a bit less harsh on them. It's, I want my privilege back.
Yeah. To cope with her hardship on Bumble. So
Hardship. Hardship.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
said.
not hardship. That is first world fucking problem.
Yeah,
not
okay,
a
but
hardship.
that's what she calls it.
Hardship
But
is
who
can't
would
pay the bills, might
who would-
lose your home, haven't got a
John.
job.
Let me do a word in. But who would call a dating app Bumble?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah. They're called
Because-
more stupid things. Tinder.
Grinder.
I mean, well, Grinder at least that.
Well, Grindr makes sense.
Yes, especially for gay men.
Yeah. Well, wasn't
I don't know. I
Grindr-
just picture like a fucking garbage disposal or a blender, you know.
Well, it reminds
Yeah,
me of the
but
Judas
I'm
Priest song
serious
from
though.
British
I mean,
Steel, but there you go.
if you start a dating app for feminists and you call it Bumble, you bumble into situations, don't you?
No, or you bumblebee.
Bumbling idiot, maybe. Yeah.
Bumblebee is what I would think for Bumble.
Well, yeah, fair enough. That one. Just 10 men in 5 months, which is a 9% success rate. Yeah, well.
Wow, just 9%.
what
What
the
does your
success-
average man get as a success rate on a dating app? And I think most would give their left arm for 90%. For 9%.
Fucking left nut. Yeah.
I mean, I hear that for men on average, it scores about 5% on most dating
Yeah,
apps.
exactly. So she's already doing nearly twice as well, and that is hardship. You're a poor, fragile twat.
Yeah. But she is a woman, so.
No, I know, but she's a supposedly educated one with absolutely zero self-awareness or ability to empathise. It's hard for
Isn't it
me. I don't
Wamksin?
like it.
Oh, sorry.
Wasn't it Wamsksin or something these days?
Oh, I don't
Sorry?
know.
Sorry, Mercus.
Fucking weird ass pronunciation of women.
Whamming.
Wamksin or whatever.
Whamming. As in wah.
W-A-M.
No, W-A.
or something?
No, it's W-H-A-M-E-N. Whamming. Or-
No, they wouldn't do men in there.
Oh no, that not them. The feminists have been misspelling women for decades, and it has many but no single consistent or agreed spelling. No, I mean the one I used to see was W-I-M-M-I-N, women, but that's a British spelling.
Yeah, with M-Y-N.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that was.
As I say, but there's lots and lots of them. There isn't a single consistent one. But the correct term is whamming. That's our term for them, and it's W-H-A-M-I-N or Y-N or O-N or who cares, women, E-N. The point being the wah at the front.
Yeah.
Whereas Anatak isn't a whamming, she's a woman. Because she isn't wah.
Dumb cunts, that's what they are.
Yes, but all the drones are female.
Anywho, people, considering the time, because it is 1:30 or 2:30, I think, in England.
No, we're an hour after you, so it's only 12:30.
Oh, you're an hour behind now.
We've always been an hour behind. You're to the east. The sun comes that way. We don't suddenly relocate to the west.
Anywho.
Oh, he does have a toothache, you know.
I
Messing
do
with
have
his
a
mind.
toothache. That's true. That is really true. Quite annoying in hell. But yeah, I'll try to see if I can get an appointment. Hopefully Friday. But with my luck, that's not going to happen. Anyway, Smirkers joined us last, but Smirkers, any famous last words you want to share with us?
No.
John, anything you want to say to end the stream with?
Yeah, it's a miracle it ever happened.
What happened?
The stream.
How is it a miracle? I mean, it's like the third or fourth since Hangouts.
Well, given
aren't
your
Hangouts anymore.
technical level of
I didn't make any serious mistake this time. Thank you very much. That's not a miracle. That's just me being better at it.
I mean, we are streaming after all.
less bad.
Okay, less bad. I can live with that.
And we're not fucking using Discord this time, so. Hurrah!
No, that was actually a good idea, not using Discord. I'm sorry about that, but
Fucking hate Discord.
that was really bad. I don't know why. Ooh.
That'll be my last words. I fucking hate Discord for voice chat.
Yes.
Yeah,
As do we.
Yeah, we tried it once. We thought it was a good idea, and then we fastly recognized it wasn't.
If I ever get a fucking ability to open my ports again, I'll just have a TeamSpeak server.
Anyway, people, thank you all for coming. I hope to see you all. Well, Saturday we'll have a live stream again. No idea what we're going to do it about. I really need to put more time in this. Anyway, thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all Wednesday. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Yes.